After working in the human services field for 2 decades and seeing an awful lot, and a lot of awful things, I think it's only solidified for me that people don't necessarily make rational decisions. What people most want is a sense of belonging. So once you start to develop an identity based on values, it's really difficult to overcome that, even if you see evidence in front of your eyeballs that that may not be the case. People don't necessarily see it, you know what I mean? Like, because to acknowledge that this ICE officer was completely out of line and murdered somebody, if you believe that law enforcement's good, if you believe that people are out there trying to keep communities safe, if you've had family members in the line of duty, you have a long history that would need to be questioned. And people don't really want to question who they are, uninvited. People typically only question when there is crisis. And that crisis, unfortunately, usually has to be personal or personally witnessed. We're in a really strange world now where you can witness something on your phone. And it's really easy to think that maybe AI didn't see it right, or maybe that's been doctored and AI is coming. And it's harder and harder to believe what's real and what's a deep fake. And so it gives people just the tiniest bit of excuse to think, well, just because the video shows that doesn't mean that's what happened. We don't have all the context, because the context I have backs up my point of view and my worldview. And I don't want to question it. I don't want to look at it as anything other than it must be somebody else's fault. There must be a reason. In conversation with my friend, we also discussed, and he brought up a great point. Fundamentalist Christianity actually starts from the position that you must accept the whole in order to belong. You can't question any of it. I know, as a young person who took my faith very seriously, I wasn't looking for any discrepancies, say, in the Bible to disprove my faith. I was always looking for reasons to prove it. So even if something came up that really didn't make any logical sense, I worked extremely hard to try to figure out a way in which it could make sense. And so if someone watches that video of the murder in Minneapolis from the position of trying to make it make sense, that the current administration is somehow has morals, then they could potentially come up with a story that is familiar to them, which is that authority matters. And even if you don't agree with the authority, you still don't have the right as an individual to disobey it. And anything you do to challenge authority whatsoever puts the onus back on you, that whatever the consequences are, even up to the point of dying, it's your fault, because you just shouldn't have questioned the person who's in charge. And they never questioned, and I never questioned when I was really little, why those people are in charge in the first place. Who put them there? Are they qualified to be there? This is not happening by accident. ICE agents aren't being hired by the herds and then undertrained and then put out into communities like the neighborhood in Minneapolis where George Floyd died less than a mile away on accident. These are purposeful moves to try to scare the populace so that they will be compliant.